Good morning, everyone. I know the vice presidential election is on. There's a lot happening across the country. But this session, let's soar beyond and into the skies. As it has happened recently, we have seen that India's space exploration has taken major strides. I happen to cover the 1984 Rakesh Sharma becoming the first astronaut, Indian astronaut to orbit the Earth. I do remember talking to him after that, and that experience was exhilarating. And of course, more recently in July, we saw Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla carrying that torch forward as the first Indian astronaut in over 4 decades to live and work aboard the International Space Station. We saw that 18-day mission on SpaceX Axiom flight, where he conducted experiments for India's future Gaganyaan program. And that, I think, left all of us enthralled and extremely proud. Now we're very happy to say that a new generation is stepping into this to take up that legacy even further. And one of the brightest among them is with us today, Janvi Dangeti. Is that the way I pronounce it? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Okay. She's just 23 years old, from the Godavari district of Andhra. She's a passionate space enthusiast. And may I mention this? You've been chosen as an astronaut candidate for the 2029 mission of Titan Space Industries, which is a US-based private space research company. I can't say more about that, which I'll allow Janvi to do, but I think her story is truly a remarkable one, which I'd like her to get into. And it's something that I think a lot of young Indians would be inspired to listen to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Janvi Dangeti.
Thank you for having me here today.
And I must, she sent me this message in the morning saying, please describe me as this, right? And I'm going to say this because it's so technical that I have to ask her what it's all about. But we'll start with that. She calls herself an analog astronaut. Anybody here knows what an analog astronaut is? But maybe there is someone. And then there is an advanced POSM Academy graduate, pilot in training, and an advanced scuba diver. I'd just be happy with one of them if I was doing that, but you're doing so much. Let's start with this word, analog astronaut. Okay. What does it mean?
Okay. So astronauts are the one who is in the mission or something that happens of space.
Every young small trigger in your life that said, okay, I want to be an astronaut, not a doctor, not an engineer, or whatever.
Okay, my story is silly, but my parents...
Those stories are silly.
Yeah. My parents left me when I was 1 year old with my grandparents.
Okay.
And I'm a single kid, so grown up, always listening to the bedtime stories about moon. And that's the reason of my interest in space. And I always felt like, okay, there is someone up in the moon and it's following me wherever I go. So that's how I believed. And my grandmother always used to mention about a lady that lives on moon. And I, as a kid, I literally believed that and always thought, okay, I should go there someday. And growing up, listening to the stories like Space Heroes of India, who is Rakesh Sharma sir, Kalpana Chawla ma'am, and Sunitha Williams ma'am. Everyone's story has a huge inspiration that everyone should learn. And that's how I kept motivated and kept working for my dream of stepping onto Mars someday. Yeah.
Not just moon, Mars. That's a good way to begin. But let's take a look. Okay, you have a passion. A lot of us do. We all have dreams. how did you start working towards saying, okay, I should be an astronaut? What were the things you did? Because in India, there was no opportunity, as we know, right? Only now we have the Gaganyaan program, and that will take another 3 years, and that's a long process that goes on in terms of selection. So Rakesh Sharma did it very long back, I think 83, I might be wrong, not 84, 83, right? And so therefore, what did you do in the next, during high school? Were you all involved in that, or you had to do only after school?
So when I began my journey, I have no idea because there were no direct opportunities. But there was few basic things that usually conducted by ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, where they conduct some science fair competitions, research competitions. Every year that happens during World Space Week, where ISRO celebrates for a week. And that's where I began my journey. I always stayed curious and did my own ton of research about...
You never watched spacecraft liftoff at ISRO?
No.
Never watched it at all?
No, I did watch one in USA.
Okay, you did?
Yeah, I did
live,
watch
live.
in Kennedy, but not in India.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Fine.
So, yeah.
That's a privilege in Kennedy. Which one did you watch?
It was a SpaceX Falcon 9 launch.
And what was your sense? Were you thinking, I'll be up in that sometime?
Yeah.
When was this?
It was like a year ago. It was like a year ago. I was there for my pilot training, and I had a news of, okay, there's a launch. All my friends were like, shall we go? I said, yeah, we can go.
And your experience?
That was during night, and for a second it turned out like a day. The light and the fire, it gave me a different sense that usually we don't find everywhere.
And the roar of the engines?
Yes, the vibration.
Building shakes like
yes,
that.
the vibration, yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, yeah. So ISRO got into you.
The basic things are like participating in STEM activities, staying engaged, and being connected to the people who are interested in similar things. In the beginning, I was connected to few people from India, but more abroad. Like there were more educational programs that is happening all over the world, and I've kept applying for it. And one of those projects that helped me to connect with more people was NASA Citizen Scientist Program, where I worked with multiple teams all over.
So you went to the US for that?
No, it's online.
Online, okay.
Anyone can register for it and apply. You can work for asteroid search campaigns, where I discovered a provisional asteroid.
Oh.
So it's like one step at a time.
You look through a telescope and
no. You'll get data from a NASA observatory telescopes, and from there you have to, like, they'll help you with software, and you have to classify the data, and then you have to analyze if this particular thing that is moving in the sky qualifies it, and then we have to submit back the data.
And does it get your name get embossed on it, the Janvi
Yes.
asteroid?
No, I didn't name it as Janvi. I named it as something else.
Like what?
There is some criteria even for the name. Let's say three numericals and three
Some
alphabets.
boring stuff, like not the actual name.
Not actual, yeah.
Yeah, but then go ahead. So you did the asteroid, and then you did this whole range of programs that took you to Iceland and took you to... Talk about that. That seems very interesting.
After these small programs that happened, and I began talking to different people all over the world, and they introduced me to these educational programs that are happening, and I applied for it. Luckily, I've been selected for one of the educational program that is being conducted by a Mexican company called EXA at NASA facilities.
Okay.
So I was the first Indian to get selected for that particular program. So there...
Yeah. And what did you do there? It's a 7-day program?
Yeah, it was an educational program, actually getting the gist of how an astronaut life look like. Okay. And we'll be talking to the NASA scientists, astronauts, they'll be coming there. And imagine a girl from a normal place going all the way to NASA and learning things directly on hands-on experience. And that gave me different exposure. And me, along with my teammates, we worked on a project that was actually launched into space.
Okay,
so,
and let's move to you did about 4 of these kind of things? What were the others you did?
Educational programs are like 2, but then I did analog missions. So one I did in Poland. That was an isolated mission for like 11 days. I was isolated in my habitat, along with 5 other crewmates from different parts of the world. So we never get exposed to sunlight or never get exposed to the outside world. we'll be just walking like a robots that are already designed.
It's all dark, is it? Or there's a light,
No,
but you
we
can't
have
go outside?
light, but we don't go outside.
All right.
We don't breathe fresh air. Everything is under life-supported systems. Just like you can't bath or pee or poop directly into the commode. Like you have to be counting every single thing that you're taking in and every single thing that you're
Right.
putting out. So it's like just living in a confinement of space. And then comes with Iceland.
Right.
So I was the first Indian to get selected for this Iceland mission, where Neil Armstrong and other Apollo astronauts once got trained for their Apollo mission. But when you ask me why Iceland, it's the place where you can find the Martian terrains and lunar kind of
Surfaces.
surfaces. So, yeah.
So what did you do in that?
It's a field mission. We explored the highlands and volcanic terrains of
You walk?
Iceland. Yeah, walking and learning from the geology
In a
sciences.
spacesuit or?
Yes.
Okay, so
Both in the spacesuit and then in flight suit and then regularly like a normal person.
right.
Yeah.
And what did that experience teach you?
So it's like
Living in the wilderness.
living. Yeah, it's say Iceland is a place I didn't like. It's the only place I felt very different than any other country because the structures or the surface that actually mimicking the Martian terrains, and that helped me to understand. See, we are walking on the gravity. Imagine we don't have the similar gravity on a different planet. Let's say moon, it's just 1/6. And you have to walk in such terrains will make it even more difficult. And this is just a gist of practicing such kind of environments.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now what happens? You've been selected. And so what is this? This is not a full, you go into orbit or you at that borderline place where you...
Okay.
Yeah.
So recently I've been selected for an suborbital mission by Titan Space Industries, and their approximate date of launching is 2029 March.
Okay.
And this is a private space company, and the trainings that I've did are not by that particular company. I did by myself. Like I did my own spin-off private trainings just to put me forward when India calls up for astronauts. Okay, I can raise my hand. Yes, I'm here already doing my
wow.
trainings.
Let's give a very warm round and bless you
Yeah.
for your aspirations. Yeah.
So I didn't waited for someone taking me as an astronaut candidate. I started my own journey, and I'm doing it. And I've also graduated from Advanced Posum Academy, where
Yeah, I
you'll
wanted
be-
to ask you, that sounds a little
Yeah.
technical. What does it mean?
So it's a place where you will be learning the gist of astronautics. So you will be doing EVA simulations, IVA simulations, extra G flights. It's all technical. Never mind.
Okay.
But yes,
Extra G. So you actually get the pressure coming onto you?
yes,
How
I've been
they
up to
simulate. You go through that,
6.5.
you
No.
spin around or?
No, it's an aerobatic flight. It's a
Okay.
300 and it's for very shorter time, like seconds, like 2-3 seconds. You'll be experiencing positive 60s, and it depends how
Like
you're gonna.
pushing against your chest.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
I
Okay.
was been up to 6.3 or something.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my very first flight.
Uh-huh.
And yeah,
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. I was still alive.
Normally people puke at that time.
Yeah, usually they do. Most of them did, but I was
Right.
okay.
Okay. And then this, you also said you did the spin. What's the spin?
Spin during the aerobatic flight. We do spins
And that's what you did privately. You didn't.
Yeah, it's from IAS, International Institute of Astronautical Sciences, that I was mentioning.
Okay,
The
and-
Posum Academy. Thing,
Okay.
yeah.
And they put you through that. And you also advanced scuba diving.
Yes.
How does that help up in space?
So as I said, to mimic the gravity on Earth, just like space, water is the only place where you can do. It gives you this closer sensation for microgravity. So that's the reason I've started scuba diving, because I heard to go to space, you have to get trained underwater. By that time, I don't even know how to swim.
Really?
Yes, I started when I was 17. By the time of 18, I'm already an advanced adventure scuba diver. And I was one of the youngest people to get advanced license at that age.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nav, along with my instructor, Subhash Chandran, I'm learning the coral replantation. So I started doing
Okay.
ocean conservation from my end. So, yeah.
Oh, good. You should go to the Andamans if you get the time.
I was
Apparently, they're doing a
graduated
lot
from
of-
Andamans.
Oh, you went to the Andamans?
Yes, I was
They're going to
licensed
do
from there.
a lot of coral transplantation because of the new project that is coming out there.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. And finally, I know we're running out of time, but What advice would you give to young dreamers,
Okay.
of those who would like to follow your footsteps or follow their own dreams? What did this whole experience teach you so far?
One thing, let's say, when I come from a smaller town, people usually say, oh, you're from small town, how did you get these opportunities and things like that. But what I would say is, it doesn't matter where you come from. What all matters is what you're aiming for. Because opportunities are everywhere. The world is on the fingertips. All you have to do is go explore. Stay curious and stay connected to the people that have like mind.
Stay curious, stay conducted, achieve a lot. Janvi Dangeti. Let's give a really, really warm round of applause and wish you all the very best. Maybe 2029, we'll be reporting you up there in South Hotel.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.